So you can see the lines of text on top of the screen. And that's just the debug info that the developers would use to tell what's going on. Like you can see I jumped and it said time and error 1.06251. That's how many seconds I was in the air. Anyway, so let's go out of bounds. So you can see I now have a free camera and I can take it wherever the heck I want. So we can go up and see just how much of this castle is rendered at one time. They have a whole bunch of this guy loaded in at once. Okay, timer, thank you. Thank you, forgot about that. They got a whole bunch of this castle loaded in at once. And there's some really, really interesting things here. Like, this door that barely opens for a fraction of a second, they built an entire texture of the courtyard just so when you peek out the little bit of the door that opens, you'll be able to see that there's something there and it's not just a black void. But the fact that they made it a whole mural is just, there's way more effort than what they needed with how brief the doors open and how little the doors open. But even more interesting than that is if we go through that, we'll see a room with a whole bunch of people in it. And what this is when an item needs to be loaded in for a cutscene in a game, they need to store it somewhere. They can't just generate it from nothing. So these are all the cutscene models for the characters. Like if Snape, Dumbledore, Hagrid, and Mrs. McGonagall, Professor McGonagall, put some respect on her name, need to show up at the main hall for Dumbledore's annual "You kids are in danger" speech. They just pull them from this room that's hidden way out of bounds, and they put them in the hall over here. And they just pop them into place, so they don't have to spend any time loading them in. They can just place them. So it's interesting that I found the room that they're all stored in. And you can see that the Great Hall has its own skybox, because the rest of the map doesn't have a skybox. But the skybox is also an out-of-bounds object. The skybox is stored over here, and they just apply it to this roof and stretch it. And in addition, this is the Gryffindor common room, right? Somewhere around here. Yeah. So we can see the painted lady that lets you in the common room. But you remember that she turned 3D when she said, "It's nice to see you, Harry." That 3D cutscene variant is stored up here out of bounds. Sorry, it's a little hard to control this camera, but you can see this is the 3D version that kind of popped out of the mural for the cutscene. It's a whole different variant that's stored in a separate location. So when she said, "It's good to see you, Harry," they just popped the camera over here since it was a close-up shot. And you can see that the texturing is a little bit messed up where it doesn't wrap correctly because they didn't angle the camera that high for the cutscene, so they didn't bother making it one clear texture all the way through, and they let it wrap. But yeah, there's a whole lot of this castle loaded in at one time, and having characters just off to the side helps on memory and loading resources. And yeah, you see some of them are in their like regular sassy poses, or like when Filch showed up when I broke the pot, he's stored here with his broom so they can just him into place for that cutscene. But yeah, like basically essentially the entire castle of Hogwarts, if it doesn't show a loading screen, it's in at one point. It's all loaded into the map. They use rear face culling, like You can't see the roof if I look above, but you can see the roof from below. Culling is a developer term where they make it invisible. So if something has rear-face culling, it means you can't see it from the back. Which, the roofs having rear-face culling is very convenient for our case, so we can do these zoom-outs. Otherwise, we'd just be looking at a bunch of roofs, and that'd be awful boring to just see the same ceiling tiles, but from another angle. I also wanted to look at the mirror effect they have here. Unfortunately, once you get close, it just kind of disappears, and it is also something that is not really rendered on the rear side, but we can see a unique texture that you would never see otherwise. It almost looks like a field of tar bubbles. I don't know. But you would never see this texture anywhere else, because it's just the backside of this mirror effect here that is just so crazy. So yeah, this is just the main castle map, but since I have the whole suite of developer tools here, I can load in a bunch of different maps. So, let's go into a few different maps. You can get a zoom out of the Chamber of Secrets puzzle. We can see the entire level. Now, from what I could tell, it seems like any level in this game is fully loaded in. As soon as that loading screen ends, pow, you're there. They don't load the level in chunks. It's all fully loaded at all times. Which you would think would be pretty resource intensive. I don't know why they didn't have the level load in chunks. But hey, this way it's pretty seamless. You're not going to accidentally see an unloaded chunk of the level. It's going to always feel like you're in the environment, and it's not going to feel, you know, like broken. You know, it's not going to break your immersion because something's not loaded in. It's all there, right from the word go. Take a look at more of inside the chamber itself. The titular Chamber of Secrets. Another outside view of the map. If we look inside the little goblin holes, you see there's not really much here. They don't expect you to look inside. The camera never gives you a good angle, so they just made what they had to. So this is the chamber. And you can see that as soon as you load in, Ginny's already on the floor. Ginny's already here. Sleeping with her eyes wide open, just like Donald Duck would want. And Tom Riddle's diary is right here. Whoops. Sorry, like I said, camera's hard to control. Basilisk is not behind the head, though. Like with the other instance, the cutscene variants are stored out of bounds, and I think I found them already. I think they're in this room over here, way out in the distance. It's hard to even tell how much ground I'm covering, but if I turn around, you can really see I've flown a long way. And yeah, so we have both the flying and sitting versions of Fox. The version of Ginny that's being cradled by Harry. And, of course, the cradling Harry. This time she actually does have her eyes closed, appropriately. The sword of Godric Gryffindor. We can look at it up real close, so you can see all the little details they put into the hilt. And we also have the basilisk. Take a peek inside his head, so we can take a look at his tongue. And you can see his little chompers there. And what's really funny, and it looks like there's two basilisks here. Yeah, there's this basilisk, and then there's just the head part of the straightened one that's darkened. And this is really funny, because I never saw this anywhere else. There's just these little film snapper signs that say cutscene. But let's fly our butts back over here. And give ourselves a little zoom out. Oh, there we go. That was some pop in. The head pops in. You can see if you turn too much. But the entire map is loaded in all as soon as you start. For every one of these levels. Neato. Now let's go to the Whomping Willow. So, there's Whomping Willow. There's Ron. He seems pretty happy with this situation right now, all things considered. Got the Ford Anglia. Right now it's not making any noise because it's not like the real Ford Anglia, it's the variant that's just meant to be stuck in the tree. So, do a bit of a cheeky zoom out here. You can see the whole area. But if we look over here, there's a whole duplicate area. And I'm gonna use different keys to speed up the game. Go back to game speed 1. Whoa! There's the sparkly effects coming out of the Ford Anglia. There's nothing in the trunk. And we got the headlights. And this is a version of the Whomping Willow that does not have Ron inside of it. As well as the rest of the map here. Another little cheeky zoom out here. What is Dungeon Quest? Ah. That whole big area. So let's just get a quick... Well, let's see what's underneath this gunk. Underneath this gunk is just a big hallway. Very similar to the top layer, but with nothing in it. So I assume that's going to be the case for all the pools of gunk, no matter what color. Yeah, pretty much nothing underneath the gunk, as expected. So, I don't think there's really that much to see here. Let's move on. Greenhouse. Skip the cutscene. Alright. So I believe this is just the Defendo challenge. Oh! And down here, we found the skybox. We found where the skybox and the grass texture is stored. You can see it's just a mini version of what they have plastered around the whole area. Yep. Oh, sorry, no. It's not the trial. It's where we get the ingredients for the Polyjuice potion. And I accidentally just finished the level. Let's check out the forest real quick. Skip the cutscene. Take the free cam around. And let's get a zoom out of the Forbidden Forest. And just give ourselves a little pan along from above. This one seems to have some aggressive pop-in and culling, where it's not all loaded in one chunk. But the castle loads in all one go. I guess they just had a lot of memory optimization in the castle, where they didn't need to have it load in chunks. Some crazy Tim Burton drug trip stuff going through that cobweb hallway. Why does Harry's teleport with the camera sometimes, and sometimes he goes back to where I put him? And why am I not dead? I just fell a long way. I should be super dead right now. Let me pick the next map. No, not arena. Aragog. We're gonna check out Aragog's boss fight arena.
Fight him, my children.
No. No biting. Let's take a close look at Aragog himself. We can see his spider eyes. Take a look inside him. There's nothing. Take a quick look at his weak point up close. Very red. Let's fly up. Take a look at his arena. For some reason, there's a whole nother map over here. I think it's just loading in different assets, like for this, if the spiderweb breaks during the fight, I think it's loading more damaged versions of the spiderweb when you start breaking more pillars. I might be wrong. And here's the Ford Anglia, complete with engine noises, because the Ford Anglia shows up at the end of the Aragog fight. And this is Cutscene Ron, just hanging out. Again, having them there beforehand saves on memory. They just move them instead of load them in. From the bottom of the pit up. Anyway. Now we can go to the arena. So this is just where the dueling takes place. It's just like a modified version of the Great Hall. Nothing really too interesting to see here. You can see all the people who stand around the arena when you fight. Bean Reward Room. So we can get back here and get another chance at the Bean bonus room. And if we wanted to, we could full clear the Bean bonus room, because there is a console command to give you more time. So if we wanted to, we actually could full clear the Bean bonus room, even though it's like really not supposed to be possible. I could just put in the console command for give me 1,000 more seconds, and then they'd be like, all right, homie. So before we run out of time, let's do a zoom out of the Bean bonus room. And we can see it's just a big square. This mossy tile roof almost looks like spectators in a stadium when you go up far enough. Yeah, there's some stuff you can't see from the up high view, like these corridors and such, but you can get most of it in one shot. I do not want to pick credits, at least not yet, because when I was testing and I picked credits, it started applying the credits name call to every map. Flying Anglia cutscene. So we have a Filch here and a Ron here. And Ford Anglia somewhere, you can hear the engine running. It's gonna be like a Lost Woods situation where I gotta listen for it. I don't know. Let's do a big ol' zoom out, because I think this is just like a huge area of London. Just humongous plain. that I can't even get all in one shot, probably. Yeah, humongous. But they made it so big because it's just flat tiles with lights on them to represent the houses. But yeah, just huge, huge map to show that the car is up high in the air. Again, I don't know where the car is. It sounds close. There it is! Magic coming out of his butt and everything. Port Anglia is a giant kaiju car crushing all these houses. Way bigger than this bridge. We'll do a quick little zoom out of the staircase that I loved to make Harry jump to his death repeatedly as a child. Don't know why that was my favorite thing. Whoa! And we've popped in the rest of Hogwarts, and it is pissed. We're getting some major slowdown. Game engine is not happy with that. I guess we're going to Grounds Night. Take a look at the grounds. Quick zoom out. It's a lot to the grounds. Leads over to Hagrid's hut. In which there is nothing inside. Very sparsely furnished. Hagrid's a minimalist, what can I say? Check out the normal grounds. See if it's any different. Not really. We still have a whole path to Hagrid's shack here. Still minimally furnished. But there's also, porcelain pigs. They were not there before. And now we just have a Polyjuice Potion ingredient in an inventory forever, because that quest is over. Since I accidentally picked that up earlier. Oh well. Got an owl. Just hanging out back here. Another chunk of castle. That's just floating off the ground. Why it's floating here is because you would be looking from this angle, so you would only be able to see the top of those spires. You would never know that the bottom half is missing. So it's, again, another thing they did to save resources. Don't model more than you have to, or not much more than you have to, and you'll be able to save on load times and stuff. Use those resources elsewhere. Resource management is key, especially in older games, when machines weren't as powerful. Let's go to Privet Drive. This is not Privet Drive. This is Diagon Alley. And as you can see, one whole side of it is just all brick wall. Because the cutscene, you only see the storefront. So let's free cam. There's not even any interiors to these buildings. But here is the bookstore. At the very beginning of the game. We have Lucius hanging out in the corner, waiting to be called into the scene where he gives Ginny the diary, I believe? Then we have two separate Lockharts and a cutscene Harry. And we have a couple of A-posing characters. We have A-posing Lucius and A-posing Ginny with her book basket. And then over here is actually Privet Drive. But not only is there Privet Drive, as you can see, way up there in the sky, it's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's the title! The title actually exists in the sky. at all times for this cutscene map. And you can see that they did not model it on the back. On the back, it is just a black wall. But we have the whole transparent text rendered at all times, as well as these two big brick wall sheets that I have no idea why they're here, honestly. If anybody has any guesses, I guess let me know. But yeah, this is the whole Privet Drive. Oh, didn't notice this. We got Hagrid and Ron cutscene variants hiding behind this house. Also, they have like a whole greenhouse area back here for this house. Oh, and that's because this is the Dursleys. This is Harry's room. Not the one below the stairs. It's when he gets an upgrade. Little Hogwarts logo drawn on the wall. A tie, Gryffindor crest. Hedwig drawing. Another drawing of which I can't discern. Unfortunately, we can't look through the mirror and, like... okay. You can see things start to pop in and out when I look far enough. But yeah, they just kind of, like, double the room. Unfortunately, I can't just, like, walk through the mirror and you see that, because they did cull this entire room once you get past a certain angle. It's a bit unfortunate that I couldn't show you guys that it literally is just doubled in reverse. And the Ford Anglia. I could hear you from a mile away. Hanging out back here for when it flies past the title. This is definitely one of the more interesting maps. Quidditch?
A glint of gold. Is that the snitch?
So we can freeze the Quidditch match and just look at all the players. We got a flaming quaffle here. Something that you've probably never seen in action because it's going by so fast. It actually has a crest on it. Has the Hogwarts insignia on the quaffle. But it's spinning and moving so fast in game, you would probably never notice that. Take a good look at the spectators. Look significantly less good up close, as we probably all do. Yeah, we just take a look at the bludgers. Close-up look at the snitch. Again, sorry, this camera is a bit unwieldy. Very cool. Now, Quidditch intro loads in the Quidditch map, but with free reign and no sound. But, more importantly, free reign. We can go anywhere we want. It's not just on a trek looking for the snitch. But we can speed the game up a bit, so it doesn't take forever. And smack it in the wall 40 times. Give ourselves a manual zoom out. Broom style. We hit the ceiling. Alright. You can see it looks a lot like an American football. The Quidditch Stadium. Surrounded by a hedge. Sepia hallway. So this is the flashback to Aragog, where that's little baby Hagrid. Normally, I don't think you get that much free reign in this cutscene. I don't remember. It was so brief. I don't know where baby Aragog is, because he's not back in this corner. And unfortunately, the scene is lit so darkly that I just don't know where he is. There's Tom Riddle hanging out, though. I'll get a little zoom out of this area. Maybe that's why he didn't... What? Science? Okay. He follows the free cam if you're in bounds. If you're out of bounds, that's when he doesn't. That's why he's snapping sometimes. I've scienced it out. This one is labeled Startup. And it just appears like a test map. I don't know what it's testing. There's no interactables here. It just has a bunch of numbers that I would think would be to test for scale of something. Not done anything game development related in many a year. And a lot of that was just concepting. So we can get a zoom out and see that there's one massive blue sheet. I also love the lighting gradient on it. It's rather pretty. There's another blue sheet below us that I can't get close to where it calls itself out. But yeah, I don't know exactly what this is testing for. But it's here. Being that it's labeled Startup, maybe it's not even a test area. Maybe it's for something else. Maybe it's just a map that needs to be loaded upon startup for things not to crash. I don't know. And then every time that there's a transition where they just pan past the gargoyle and they're talking about, you know, the students going on holiday or whatever, this is that map. You know, where it's just like, the kids were asked if they wanted to leave for Christmas, and they were upset and confused when they found out Draco was staying. That's this map. It's right here. And this gargoyle is not properly connected to the roof. But again, you'd be looking at a lower angle, and you wouldn't be able to tell. And there's some weird stuff you can do. Let me look up what the exact commands are, because I'm going to need to do some typing. Sword mode. Holy cow! The sword works as defendo. We're learning new things up in here. We can give myself the Sword of Godric Gryffindor. I wonder if it works as any other spells. Not Spongify. Not Alohomora. We can also turn into Goyle on command. Goyle does not say Spongify, I guess. I guess probably because you didn't have that spell yet.
The Rictus-Semper challenge.
Hey, you used the wrong voice. You can also... This is a really weird one. We can make Harry fat. He makes thundering footsteps. In clouds of smoke. That activates Spongify platforms? What the heck? I was expecting this to just be visual. Oh my gosh. Harry angry, Harry smash! This is awesome. Oh! One is not the default. I've made Harry very skinny now. This is horrifying. It's not 100. Oh, man. What is default Harry fatness? Yeah, he turns into Beaker. 150? 150 is a little big. Are you a 125 kind of boy? I think it's a little off, but that's probably about right. That is funny. I was not expecting anything but visuals. You can also adjust the opacity of Harry, so we can make Harry invisible, like in the Aragog cutscene where we see baby Aragog and all that. Let's put him back to normal. And we could also use a command to give us all the wizard cards, but I think there's probably a more fun way that we could do this. This man wants to sell us wizard cards.
What do you have?
I have a silver wizard card. Never even shuffled before.
So instead of just giving us a full set, I think it might be more fun to do something else. He has cards to sell. I want cards. We're about to give you a trade you're never gonna forget. Alright. Now we have 10,000 jelly beans. We're just gonna buy a ton of silver wizard cards from him. And just watch them fill up the floor. And watch my right pointer finger fall off. It is much more fun than just magicking them into my inventory. Don't you think? We'll see if he ever runs out. He's just gonna fill up the whole screen with wizard cards. If I was doing this on, like, the childhood household computer, it'd be playing at, like,
It'll make you envy of your friends, Harry.
Be like...
Sorry, I've run out of stock.
Okay.
You'll have to come back later.
It'd be at, like, 2 frames a second right now.
Sorry, I've run out of stock.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. We can now see what's behind that door. Due to the power of cheating. And we still have nearly 5,000 beans to spare. We can get so many flubberwort goops and tree barks. As Bender says. Let's go already! Open up, open up. I want to see what's behind here after all these years. Is it going to be a huge letdown, or is it going to be awesome? Let's find out together, shall we? Oh? Oh? It's a trap? To get a gold wizard card? I see, it's to get a set of gold wizard cards. I can use the... Oh, screw you, troll platform. Gets taller when you get closer. What kind of garbage is that? Oh, the most daunting challenge yet. A long hallway. We conquered it. Harry, we got no time. Walk off that broken ankle. Feel like it would just be like, hooray, you win. Oh. Did we get all of them? Did we do it? We did it! We got all of them without cheating. He gets his own laugh track and he throws beans. Well, let's take our free cam. Oops. And look behind all of them. You just get to see their little skyboxes here and their magic effects. And another skybox that's just hidden down here. Harry Smash!
Harry, want to trade?
Oh. Okay, no. They're cutscene triggers that were stored out of bounds. Interesting. This is showing where all of the things are. Like, these switches are showing if I stand in this area, it activates a switch that makes the stairs come. And if I stand here, it activates another switch to make the stairs move. I guess let's do another zoom out with all of these markers activated. Holy cow. Now we're really taxing the game engine. Castle looks like it's lit up like a Christmas tree. With all of these markers everywhere. Let's see what markers these characters have. A whole bunch of them. And all of their cutscene cues stored in this one corner. They even have the Ash version of Fox. And all the teachers, A posing Harry, just an arm, Harry's arm. The pigs, the cats. Frozen, nearly headless Nick. A table, probably the one the vase, yep. Broken vase pieces. Harry reading the diary. They got a whole bunch of dudes for cutscenes in here. Interesting. So we saw a whole bunch more of the cutscene models stored out of bounds, or a bunch more cutscenes. Very cool. If you're still here, I would just like to thank you for watching this far. It really means a lot to me. And
the cold, unfeeling algorithm.